Street sharks, they fight. They
Bye-bye.
fight. Ah, he actually did fight me. Nice.
Super Media Runners!
Welcome to Super Media Runners. We run the media to you. I'm Jarek.
I'm John.
And today we are going to be doing a movie adaptation of Street Sharks since the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie comes out this week. So, here we go.
In Pitch Runners, we will go over cast, plot summary, and our whole movie pitch using Dan Harmon's story circle through the main character's journey. But before we take that journey, we must consult the studio deck. We pick one card and must do what the card says during the presentation of our idea.
Because the way they traveled is they traveled in the street, underground,
and then
their fins popped out, and I thought that was the coolest
Dude, that
thing
would
ever.
look so cool in like today's CGI.
Yeah. So let's start with the plot summary and cast before we draw our studio deck card. We have cast here, and mind you, we haven't watched this show in a while, so we had to really think about what these characters look like and how the voices would fit. Streaks was the blue shark with the black with the black pants
and the rollerblade.
No. Oh yeah, shit. I'm already mixing them up. Streaks is the rollerblade with the blue.
He's like the
fin,
blue one. He's the
blue and
one.
purple shark. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it was a tiger shark. Yeah.
No.
A cartoon tiger shark. That's what it looked like because it was
Okay.
light blue, and he had purple. He had purple patterns.
Okay.
Look it up. So we're gonna voice him as Chris Evans. I want Chris Evans to be back in his prime when he was like this kind of
Back in his prime.
when he played his douchey characters.
That was his prime.
Yeah, like when he
Not
played
Captain America.
when he played Human Torch, when he played all that guy from The Losers, that movie that nobody fucking watched. So just kind of like a snarky extreme character. So I
Yeah.
thought, okay, Chris Evans, that's a good billing. Ripster, who is the leader of the Street Sharks,
He's a great white.
he's the Great White
But he's blue.
and he's blue. Zac Efron. We thought, okay, cool, it'd be a good
He
idea,
said, throw Zac Efron a bone.
right?
He hasn't been in anything.
In a while, yeah. So something he'd have fun with.
Yeah.
Big Slamoo would be voiced by Vin Diesel.
Big Slamoo was the whale shark.
Yep.
Orange, right? Orange.
No,
brown?
he's kind of like brown.
Like brown.
Yeah.
He's just
Well-
like a big kind of imposing. Well, they're all big, but this guy was like, hey.
Oh, Big Slamoo.
And then it comes full circle because Vin Diesel used to do commercials.
He did the promos for the
He
Street
did the
Sharks.
promos for the Street Shark toys.
Yeah, you gotta watch the video for that. It's
Yeah,
really
it's
fucking
hilarious.
funny.
So it'd be nice. It'd be hilarious. If
It's a good.
full circle.
It's a good full circle thing.
He'd do it too. He'd jump.
Oh
right on
hell
it.
yeah! He'd be like, dude, you're making a Street
Like,
Shark movie. Fuck yeah, I'm
Street
in.
Sharks? Remember
Hell
that-
yeah.
Remember that embarrassing shit you did?
Well, he still does embarrassing shit. Like I said, he's the biggest. He's the muscliest nerd I've ever seen, and he gets people. He just knows how to make people cringe. So, Jab, who is the hammerhead shark, David Harbour.
David Harbour, mainstay. He's got
He's got a gruffy voice.
gruffy voice.
Kind
I
of
feel
matches
like
to everybody else.
we were kind of thinking like the sharks. They gotta have big imposing voices. That's why we chose all these guys for the. But they're all gonna have to be human, no? At some point.
Okay, they're gonna be human in the first 5 minutes. So the way that happens is they get injected and they become their sharks.
Yeah.
So I figure that's a good way of doing it.
Maybe they're like out for the night or something. Or
Right.
they're all chilling or something. They all
So
get-
Ruby Pankow will be Benz, which is with a tech guy that they always had who like helped make their equipment and shit. He was like super smart and he was also like an engineer. He like built all their vehicles like that ended up being toys.
and these are all like secondary characters too.
Yeah.
We kind of wanted to make the highlight of it be the sharks, obviously.
Lena Mack, the reporter who is like the April O'Neil of Street Sharks, is going to be played by Zendaya. Dennis Quaid will be playing Dr. Rob Bolton, who is the father of all of the Street Sharks, because all four of the sharks are brothers. And the whole plot of the cartoon was they have to find out what happened to their dad, because apparently he's still alive, and they don't know where he is. Now the villains. Dr. Paranoid, or Dr. Paradigm, as he starts out as, will be played by Thomas Hayden Church. We figured someone imposing, but also who could play a smarter character. Slash and Slobster, which are his sea creature henchmen. Slash was a swordfish.
Slobster was a lobster.
But Slash had like a drill for on on their nose.
How did that even?
I don't know.
happen?
Swordfish with a drill
So he was a swordfish, and then when he got mutated, his nose turned into a drill.
into a drill,
And
which is
a working drill.
yeah, but it's
Work.
kind of useless because whenever he does fight the street sharks, he just gets like the thing stuck
on the wall.
in a wall, and then he gets his ass kicked. So I'm just like, wow, very very useless. I think I would have preferred the sword. So yeah, we figured Slash would be played by Michael Rooker, Slobster, John DiMaggio.
Yeah, John DiMaggio.
Yep, I figured. Yeah,
We also figured we just needed voice actors here because they weren't never human, so they wouldn't have to act or anything.
yeah, they were gene slammed into these monsters. So they were literally a lobster and a swordfish, and then they became these mutants, sentient human beings,
hybrid,
probably gonna have
bipedal for some reason.
For some reason, they're gonna have one-liners out their ass. So, yeah, that's kind of. And then the summary is basically 4 brothers looking for their dad, who was actually betrayed by Dr. Paradigm because he found out how to make gene slamming, which is where he grabs people's genetic code DNA and slams it with other animals and creates these like giant mutants hybrids. Yeah. So they want to find out what what happened to their father, and Dr. Paradigm was the last person to see him. So they get help from their human characters. And then they get into these fights, and eventually they become the street sharks because the vigilantes of Fissure City, which is
it's not the most complicated story.
Yeah,
but
this is literally episode 1 of Street Sharks.
It's meant to be fun.
So
it's meant to be. This is one of those movies where it's meant to be a vision spectacle, action, explosions. This is perfect. This is a perfect Michael Bay movie.
Hell yeah! This should have been what Michael Bay ended up cooking up. All right. Jukebox Hero. Your idea must contain 4 scenes that are accompanied by existing songs for the soundtrack. John, start looking up shark songs.
You have to have the DMX.
Okay.
X gonna give it to you.
Okay.
Existing songs. Okay. DMX for sure.
Okay. So
I would put DMX in all of my fucking movies. Anyways.
Okay. So the 4 brothers enter the 4 brothers zone of comfort. They all do some kind of extreme sport, as far as I'm aware from if I'm remembering this beginning episode.
They're like athletes.
Yeah, so they're all like athletes, and then they find out their dad's gone missing because Dr. Paradigm betrayed him and injected him with the gene slamming whatever, the air thing, and it transformed him, but he ran basically Dr. Paradigm thought he killed him, but he didn't kill him. He became like this mutant thing. And it's funny because the cartoon never actually reveals what happened to their father.
Really?
Yeah, no. It was completely no. They never did it. That was the whole plot, but they never solved it.
They never finished it.
Yep. So yeah, the 4 brothers want to know what happened to him, so they investigate Dr. Paradigm, and eventually they come across his secret lab, and so that's their zone of comfort. And then, but they want something. They want to find their father, and then of course they enter their unfamiliar situation. They become sharks after Dr. Paradigm injects them with the gene slamming vials, scene. And they transform into their freaking shark. Oh,
their transformation scene.
Yeah.
Just
think about it. Their heads just completely swollen into this freaking shark head. Dude. So it looked good in the cartoon. I don't think it would look disgusting if all of these famous actors became sharks.
You'd make it like the fucking werewolf scene.
Hell yeah.
Sick.
So maybe let's do a song during their transformation scene. So,
DMX X, I'll give it to
you. Maybe something intense, but funny. It's kind of they're turning into sharks.
Rock Lobster. Dude, we should Rock Lobster.
Oh shit!
Rock Lobster for when
when Slobster
and Slash.
Become the henchmen.
Yeah.
Or when Slobster's about to fight them, and they're at a bar or something, and then the radio breaks, and then and then it's just Rock Lobster because it's Slobster fighting them. Okay, that's one. So just keep that in mind. So yeah, they become sharks. They enter their unfamiliar. They learn how to they learn to adapt because thankfully the April O'Neil universe, or there's their freaking investigators I'll help you guys. Here, I'll find a secret basement for you guys to live in, and that ends up being their
base.
Yeah, their shark lair.
Shark nest.
Yeah, their shark nest. And Ben's creates their vehicles he just happened to have fucking 4 vehicles that can fit these giant fucking sharks.
And they're all shark themed.
Yeah, and they're all shark themed somehow. He souped them up. He's yeah, don't worry guys, I got your back. So it's oh cool. it's crazy that this is such an inconvenient thing in their lives. It became these mutant sharks, and then now all of a sudden, nah, we're cool with it. Fuck yeah, dude, we're cool. That's awesome. So yeah, they eventually defeat Doctor Paradigm and his henchmen. So that could be like a big battle, because in the first episode, that's kind of like towards the end, where it's like Dr. Paradigm kidnaps Benz, and he tries to turn him into like a mutant too. But the sharks find out where he is, and then they all break into his like fucking lair, and then they're fighting, and that's how it eventually turns out that that needle that injected him with the gene slams, it goes into Dr. Paradigm, and then that's how he later becomes Dr. Paranoid. So yeah,
Piranha.
So adapt to it. Fucking hell.
What?
I always forget. Get what they wanted. So they defeat Dr. Paradigm, but they don't
Find their dad.
Yeah, they don't find their dad. That's the thing. They're able to defeat him, but because the police are involved, because they all think that they were their vigilantes, so they get what they wanted, but they pay a heavy price. They become these wanted vigilante sharks, because the police, and I remember like that
police, fuck the police, the military,
and then like that. I just remember in Fissure City, this was this cool helicopter that always like. It was like the radio DJ head guy. He's always like, "Oh, these sharks are up to no good," and it's always the same DJ jockey, and he's always like introduced, like he's like the reporter. I guess he's like the J. Jonah Jameson of Street Sharks.
Commentator.
So yeah, it would be cool for him to like be like,
sick.
They're a menace to society, but it's like, no, they're actually save people. Like maybe people called in, but yeah, so they become these street shark vigilantes. They must work in their and live in their little street shark lair. Street nest. Yeah, that's their heavy price. They became fucking street shark vigilantes, but they are now known as the Street Sharks. And but they return to their familiar situation, which is they are now
heroes in the eyes of some.
In the eyes of some. Yeah. So, but they're the same people, and they like hamburgers and all this. This is the thing. They eat hamburgers.
These fucking cartoons, and they're like food.
They have to have like a food.
The mice are like cheese. This guy's like burgers.
Turtles are pizza. So yeah, they're burgers. So, but yeah, they're able to like kind of like hang out still and they're still brothers. So they're like, yeah, we got to find our dad.
Like we're sharks.
But they're returning to the familiar station, having changed. They are now the Street Sharks.
This would be a sick movie.
We need 3 more of these.
All it needs is good ass CG, explosions. I mean, the story doesn't really matter with this shit. And Michael Bay.
I would have Vin Diesel bankroll this entire thing, so this could be the next like Fast and Furious
Dwayne Johnson
franchise.
Executive producer.
Okay, maybe when they're riding in their
ending credit scene, X-Go give it to you. Rock Lobster.
Let's do one where they're like riding into their vehicles to the base.
Didn't one of them have a motorcycle?
Yeah, Ripster had the motorcycle. I forgot what Skeets had. I know the
Skeets.
Not Skeets. What's his name? Skiers. I forgot his fucking name.
From the
Streaks.
Skeets.
Fuck off. They had like cars, monster trucks. Like one of them had a monster truck. One of them had like a hot rod. So yeah, it's a lot of. So yeah, what's a good song for that? Because they're all like driving through, about to go to the base.
They're just chilling, yeah.
Think of a song. Let's get like some really like some shit that people would be like, oh, of course they'd use that fucking song. Slow ride, take it easy. You just see a bunch of fucking sharks driving to Slow Ride. That would piss a lot of people off, but I'm sure they would use that. Okay. So there's fourth one.
Shark song. Baby Shark.
Why not? Why the fuck?
It could use that as like a joke. Like
a
joke device.
Maybe Benz is like making fun of them
because they're sharks
on social media. He's like, hey, now you guys can use this song, baby.
This guy, I got a theme song for you guys.
And then he fucks with them and he turns it on their like radios and it's baby shark. And they all get fucking pissed off. They're like,
a fighting scene. There's a fighting scene to it too.
Yeah.
Maybe they have like communicators or something. And he plays it through the communicators. Yeah. And they're just fighting to baby shark. That'd be sick.
So yeah, that's Street Sharks. What do you guys think? What would you want on a Street Sharks movie? Maybe we'll get one eventually.
That'd be. I wonder who owns the property right now.
Right.
Bastards.
Mm-hmm.
Free Street Sharks.
Just Street Sharks, not the other fucking
Free the Street Sharks.
wannabes.
I'd be down for a Dino movie.
Who would like the biker mice from Mars?
No, that's stupid as hell.
The
I would do the Dinobots.
there was a hamster one too, right?
Was there?
Yeah.
That's too many.